Hello everyone, my name is Gaurav Singla and welcome to my YouTube channel Gaurav Techie. Today we will discuss about taints and tolerations in the Kubernetes world, and we'll see one example how to use the taint and tolerations, and it will help you in the interview level as well as in your work. So it's a more of intermediate to advanced level question or area of expertise where you will find it very useful to use this taint and tolerations. Before we start, if you like my videos and like my content, then do like, share, and subscribe my videos, so that it reaches out to the most of the it reaches to the more and more audience. Okay, let us deep dive into taint and tolerations. So just to get an overview, taint, you can think of it as a restrictions which are applied on the node, so that so that a specific kind of pods can only be allowed to be spawned on that node. Okay, for example, let's say if this is a Kubernetes cluster, which is a two node Kubernetes cluster. For example, if you see the number of nodes here using the command, which is kubectl get nodes, so you will see there are two nodes. One is a control plane node. Control plane you can think of as a master node, and the node 01. Okay, so let's say for example, if I have a task where I want memory intensive workload pods, right, to be start on a particular node, for example, let's say control plane node, then I can taint uh, this node with specific keyword, so that any pod matches with that keyword, that only can be spawned on that node. It doesn't mean that that pod cannot be spawned on another nodes. It only means that that pod can also be spawned on that node. There's a difference, right? So taint allows you to a restricted kind of pods to be deployed on that node. That's the only difference. Otherwise, now if we see here, um, let's say we create, let's see an example for this. Let's say we have a kubectl. If we create deployment using the imperative command. This is the command to create the deployment. Let's say that we give the name as nginx, and with image also as nginx, and let's say replicas equal to 3. Okay, now if we see get pods, I see 3 nginx pods. Let me delete this pod. This is not required for this uh, tutorial. Kubectl delete. This is a daemon set which I created earlier, but it's not required. Okay, so if you see the number of pods, I created a deployment with 3 replicas, and it created 3 pods. Now ideally, Kubernetes, since we have two nodes, Kubernetes should have deployed these two nodes, these 3 pods deployed in all two nodes, right? Maybe one on one node and two on another node. But let's see how Kubernetes has deployed it. kubectl get pods. Now here you can use minus of white command, which gives additional details. uh, Here we find that only node 01 is used for the deployment of all 3 replicas, right? But we want these pods to be deployed evenly on both the nodes. The pod should also have been deployed on the control plane node, but this is not the case in this scenario. So we need to find out what could be the issue. All right, so let's check taint, whether control plane node has the taint. So to do this, there is a command which is get node, control plane node, and you have to put in minus o, which says minus o is the YAML, and it details out the more information about a particular node, in this case the control plane node. And there's a section, the spec section. Under that you will find the taint for it, right? Now with this we can say there's a taint defined, or a restriction defined on this node, and what it says is no schedule. Okay, so no schedule effect mean no schedule means don't schedule any of the pod on this node, right? So but there is a key as well, which is a user defined, or any key which can be also be defined. So combination of this as a toleration only allows pod to be scheduled on this node. So if a pod having a toleration with this combination is allowed to be deployed on this node. Otherwise, if you don't define that toleration, then that will not be allowed. Now, what is toleration, right? Since we have defined taint as a kind of restrictions, or a specific key to a specific restriction for a particular node. Now, while deploying a pod, I need to define that toleration. Okay, means my pod need to be started on that specific node as well. Then there I need to define toleration inside my pod. Okay, and that should matches to this value, effect and key. Then only these two matches, so taint at node side, toleration at pod side, these two things matches and they work in tandem, and which allows our pod to be started on this control plane node. Okay, we will see an example now. There's a Kubernetes docs. You can search for more details, like the more theory part, but we will be focusing on the practical example here. Now here if you search, this is a very um, uh, comprehensive tutorials. So there's a first document itself which defines what is taint and what is toleration. So taint and toleration, you just need to remember, taint and toleration work together. Taint is at node side, toleration is at pod side. That's the main thing you need to remember, right? These are commands how to taint a particular node, but in our case the node is already is already tainted, so we will not go through that now. This is the example where how you define toleration at the port side. Remember that it's under the spec section and parallel to container. So we will copy this part where we need to use this as a deployment. Okay. So now let me save my deployment as a YAML file. For that you can use this command, get deployment nginx minus o YAML, which will output in the YAML format, and nginx.yaml. So I'm just writing this output to a file which is a nginx.yaml. This is the Linux syntax, nothing else. So if I open this, yeah, I get this whole definition of my deployment, kind deployment, and whatever I use, like 3 replicas, right, and the image and all. Now, as we know, we need to define that at a container level. So this is the container block. Under this, let me define that. Uh, I just copied it. I will paste it here. Okay, so containers get copied on the clipboard. I just recopy it and uh, paste it here. Okay, let me show how it works. Basically, these are what are these key. So this is the toleration section. Okay, so there are the three main keywords. One is key. So key is the any keyword which is defined at the node level in the taint section. The same has to be written here. Okay, so we know this is not the correct key. We will copy it, the correct key again. However, operator says this key should be existing in a node, then only I will operate. Okay, the combination of key and effect. So both key and effect should match to the taint section of the node, and exist is says it should exist. Okay, there can be multiple taint, but this one should exist, the combination of this key and effect. Okay, so one node can have multiple taints, and any one of the taint, if this is a combination, then I can tolerate that pod that node says, right? And effect is the node schedule, as there we see like so in the node section as well. Now let me grab the key value from there. I will just rewrite again to get the more information about the node, which is control plane minus or YAML, and I will search for the taint section. Here is the key. So I just need to grab it and put it there. Uh, I just saved it using the nginx.yml, and where is my tool? Yeah, here. So I just save it. Okay, paste. Yeah, so I just copied the key so that the key is same as whatever we defined as node key. So remember, the key can be any customized value or as any user defined value, it doesn't matter. The effect should be no schedule only. These are the predefined effects are predefined here. You can see the list of effects, right? No schedule, no execute means it does not execute. The no schedule means the pod is not scheduled anyway. Prefer no schedule is a soft boundary where it does not, it tries not to schedule at first, but there if there are very resource crunch on another node, then it schedules. So it's a like soft no schedule. But no schedule is just hard no schedule means it will not schedule at all. Okay. Okay, so we just save it, and if you see we have old ports running which last from last 10 minutes. Now I reapply this file which we have newly created with the toleration, and yes, so it says like deployment nginx configured. Okay, just ignore this warning. It is because earlier we created from the imperative, now we created from the declarative, so just ignore this. And now if we see again we have three ports, but they all are restarted around 19 second ago because we changed the definition and added some extra configuration, so all these ports are deleted and recreated now. But one additional functionality is like, if I go and check the node names, right, so now I see control plane node as well, and Kubernetes deployed on that node as well, control plane. So this is what has been achieved through taint and toleration. So taint was already there, we just added the toleration at our port definition, and control plane node says, okay, you have defined toleration, I allow this port to be running on the control plane node. That's the only purpose of toleration. Okay, So yeah, so this is how we can achieve and use taint and toleration. So it is very effective way to restrict any pod to be deployed on one node, right? And deploy only the specific pod, specific kind of required pod to be deployed on one node. So it will help you to manage your resources, manage your nodes, and manage your overall workload. This is being used in the industry a lot. Uh, that's all from today's session, and thank you everyone. Do subscribe my channel and share the videos. And if you want to know anything more about Kubernetes, then do write in the comment section, and I am happy to help you a lot. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone.